It's my honor, Mr. Rafael Dulon. He is expert in technology, agriculture and harvest technology. Please, world is yours.
Thank you very much, Maida.
But you have a presentation.
Yeah. This one.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you again, Maida. Thank you, the organizers of the World Hemp Congress again. Good afternoon to the great audience here in the hall, and good afternoon to everybody in the world watching us on internet devices or somehow on social media. Thank you very much for being with us, and thank you very much for your interest in hemp, which is quite important, which we have seen in all the other lectures this morning and before, when we have heard about all these benefits which has that hemp plant for all of us and for the world. Today, the lecture is about the development in hemp harvest technology all over the last, I don't know, many years. And if we have time enough, we can speak about agriculture as well. I give you a short overview about the content, what you can expect within the next minutes. After a short version, I give you an overview about the existing technology, some of the things we just have seen from Mark in Holland, and there I'm giving you, let's say, a few reasons why we decided it is the right moment for new developments in the harvest technology. And this is called multi-combine, as you might know. So I'm explaining to you the multi-cart harvest system. And then I'm coming to variations, which we are just building and coming up in the next years, some additives or other variations of the machine. And then we have some conclusions. So a few words to me, to my company. Hanf in Germany is working now since 2 decades with hemp and only with hemp. So we are doing everything but hemp and concentrating on that plant, starting all with agriculture, of course. So we are running our fields in Germany. And moreover to that, I have several corporations in several other European countries. Next step is that we do the harvesting and the processing of hemp in Germany and as well other countries. And then the international trade is quite an important point, because I am selling sowing seed, and on the other hand I'm buying all these raw materials from other countries, not only from Germany, because we have quite a good demand for hemp raw materials. And at the end, you see consulting is a point which is more and more demand for that. So I'm traveling to other farmers, to other processors, or to other just companies developing their own hemp food based or hemp edited products, and giving them some advices. So This is a very, very short version, just to check if you are in the right lecture. We are talking about hemp. What you see down at the bottom, that green material, that is the hemp, and the black machine in the back, it is the multi-combine. We have several advantages, which is, in 3 words, just we are able to do very precise cuttings, and so we can harvest exactly that part of the plant what we want. We are very flexible, which I will show you later, and we are effective what we call to grab all the material into the bin which is behind of the machine, so we are not throwing anything down on the soil. We are collecting everything because we are convinced that for quality reasons it is quite important to secure the goods as good as you can. So I'm now coming to history. History of hemp is, as you know, the best story ever. So since many, many thousands of years we have hemp on that planet. And it all started, of course, with working by hand, as you see at the picture above. And it is not the baddest to do it with your hand. And I've just got some information from here, from Slovenia, that the idea to work with the hand is coming back again for some reasons. Yeah? Maybe it is not economically sensible to use such a big machine, or the fields are too small, or maybe you just want to use that good mood which you have with harvesting by hand. So yeah, in the past hemp was harvested by hand, there's no doubt. And you see the picture on the left, which is a picture from Canada in the beginning of the last century, where you see that hemp was cutted, and now the people are going to collect everything to put it together for the retting on the field, but standing, which is different from laying. So this is a nice variety of sun retting. And on the right hand, you see a newer picture from China, for example, where a machine in front of the tractor is cutting the whole plant with one single cut. So it is now, let me excuse, we are talking about cuttings. Many times I will repeat the word cutting. So the picture shows how they just cut the hemp and push it to the side, and that hemp will lay on the soil, and people will come and treat it with hand as well. So in China, a lot of the work is done still by hands, and only since a few years now they are starting working with machinery as well. In the former years, and especially all these 80 years when we in the Western world did not care about hemp, they always grew hemp in China because hemp is their very important product for the fiber industry. They always grow it and grew it, and they are still growing it. And they are now able to produce really good quality. So yeah, many of us have some reasons for doubt or for a certain fear about the Chinese power which they have, but from quality point of view, I must admit they are very good meanwhile, and they are producing sometimes very good quality. So it is interesting to follow that development in China as well. So now the picture down on the bottom is a development from the, oh that's great, thanks, from the newer days, roughly I would say 15 years old. This is a machine from a company Tebeco, which was in Czech Republic, and you see there is a tractor and it is showing a machine which is able to do 3 cuts at one moment. Not exactly one moment, it is just at the first moment they are cutting the tops. In the second moment they have the middle cut, and at the end they have the base or the ground cut. And so that was the idea, to cut the hemp in 3 pieces at the end, to be able to have a material which is not so long and which you can treat with a common agriculture machineries. And after that the development went further. So we are starting now with a picture on the left, which is a machine from Germany as well, from a company called Kranemann. They developed the Blücher machinery system, and they have 2 big drums in front of the tractor, and they are able to cut in 3 or 4 cuts with one single in just one moment. And the idea is they cut the hemp and it goes down to the field for a few days or a few weeks retting period, and after that the baler will come and put it into the bales. And that machine was developed more than 15 years ago now, and it is still working, I must say. So the idea was quite good at that time. In several countries all over Europe, that machine is still working and doing quite a good job. Now we switch to the picture above, which is from a newer development. Just the idea, if you don't cut the hemp into many pieces, like 60 or 70 centimeter, but you cut it in very short pieces. This is a technology for a very, very short cut, done from the picture is done on the field on a agriculture institute in Germany as well, close to Berlin, one of our leading institutes for agriculture in Germany. The picture on the right hand you have just seen in the lecture from Mark Reinders from Hempflex. So you see there the double cut system, which makes sense if you want to have 2 pieces of the plant, just to cut the topper part of the plant to get the seed, and with the cut on the ground, which with that red part on the machine, you can get all the hemp into the machine, and the machine will cut it into that pieces from 60 to 70 centimeters. And working quite well, that machine, as you have seen in the video just a few minutes before. Down on the bottom, there's another Netherlands company called Dunagro, developing hemp harvesting machines since a few years as well. They have a slightly different system. So they are not cutting the hemp on the top. So the idea is to harvest the top and to harvest the straw in one drive, but they with a difference to Hempflex, which is cutting the top, the Dyn Agro machine is stripping the top. So it is just using a technology from other agriculture plants to have a finger stripper, and with that finger stripper the green material, so the leaves and the seed, will be harvested with that part which is running in front of the machine, roughly 1.5 meters in front of the cutter of that basement. So this is, of course, not everything what is available in hemp harvest technology, but it is quite a good overview. I must have missed something maybe somewhere on the world, but at the end, these are the leading technologies here in Europe, and you can think about what maybe would fit to your demands if you are going to be a hemp farmer in the future, or if you already are a hemp farmer. So that was all not at the end convincing us. With our company Hanf Farm, we are selling a lot of food products, and we need a very good quality of the raw materials from the microbiology point of view. And on the other hand, we have always had the idea to develop a completely new system which is able to do something what we call conditioning. So conditioning the length of the growing cultivation means we want to have a very precise horizon of our fields, instead of what we see when we go into the hemp fields. It is very often the fact that hemp extremely reacts on the situation of your field. So if you have a good smooth soil with good nutrition, the hemp will grow very high. If the soil is not so good, if the nutritions are not there, the hemp will stay very small. And so we have seen many fields which go up and down and up and down. And therefore the idea of conditioning very early in the springtime is one of the reasons to find other ways for harvesting. Second is a precise cut, that we want to be able to decide at that moment while harvest which part we take, if it's 10 or if it's 15 or if it's 20 centimeters or if it's 60 centimeters. We can decide that in that moment. So that is point 3 as well, the ability to cut different lengths. And the fourth point is maybe one really important point. So what we are aiming is to do several harvests during one vegetation. So we are using the nature by that way that we know if we cut the top of the plant, of our hemp plant in that case, we will have in a few days will have new flowers from that same plant. To use that power of the nature, it is necessary to have a machine which is not destroying the complete hemp field during the drive through the field. So that was one of the reasons for our machine as well. And then what I said before, we do not appreciate to put the harvest on the soil, because at the end our products need to be so clean and without any residues, without any microbiology problems, and that is quite important. So we are showing now the first point, what is conditioning the length. In the background you see just an ordinary hemp field, and where you see it is like waves. It is like waves on the waters going up and down and up and down. And when we cut it, we have really a nice clear line. And as I said, the plant will grow again. This is very nice to help us to create new flowers. The precise cut is shown here. You see, let's say, a top of the plant, and we can really go now into the field and cut that really top part of the plant. We can have an extra cut whenever we want later, and at the end, this is now a little bit schematic picture. We can do the seed cut later in the year, where we come back again into the field. How is it possible? Yes, it all depends on the cutting unit, which is in front of the combine, which is very special. And on the conveyor belt, on the right picture, you can see just an example for a very precise 15 centimeter cut of very young leaves for the use of tea, for example, which is the demand is being bigger and bigger every single year. And here you see what we are leaving. You see a picture from the machine to the area where the machine just went through the field. And you still can see that hemp field, and what you see is just only very small tracks which we leave with your machine. So the field is still there, this field is still valid and growing. And here is the idea of that instant collection. So we have a very precise conveyor belt system which is bringing the material into the bin, and there it will be staying for certain of moments, and after that it will go into a container which is standing on the edge of the field somewhere. So this is now the multi-combine in total, and it is called multi-combine HC3401. 3400 is of course the ability to cut close to 3.50 meters in the high, and the one at the end is for the one the prototype.
Sorry, Frank, you must tell the audience that this is Global Hemp Innovation winner.
Oh yeah, year, I just forgot.
Yes.
So there you see that we used a kind of a common carrier vehicle from another company, and everything else you see our designers and technicians did that. We have a very long front ladder or front loader in front of the machine. We have that cutting unit developed, which is able to cut very precise and to collect everything which is just cutted into the area where the conveyor belt is running, because we have seen in the past the seed harvest where too much of the seed were not collected into the machine, but in that moment of the cutting you lose too much with other systems. So a few impressions of the machine. So the cabin is very, very high. So if you sit on the machine, your eyes are on roughly 3.80 meters. So your view over the field is excellent. I cannot imagine a better place to sit than sitting there and driving through that hemp field. Very modern technology is used for the steerings, and everything is quite interesting, equipped with GPS systems, cameras and so on. And on the pictures on the bottom you see how it looks like if someone is standing on that machine, how tall the machine is in the high, and that one of the tricks of the machine is of course the ground clearance, which is up to 1.60 meters. So the whole machine can be adjusted in the height from our hydraulic system. And the last picture here is the tires or the wheels. They are extremely slim, so we decided to use that because of course we do not want to destroy too much in the field, so the tracks are very slim. So that was the multi-combine 1, and new variations are available from that machine, and new developments are coming up in the next year and the year after. You see here the version which is called multi-combine light. So if you own a tractor and if you say, hey, I do not need your cool machine at all in total, I'm only interested in your cutting technology, that's fine for us as well. So we can adapt the multi-combine system to just quite a normal existing tractor, and everything will run the same way. Everything is a little bit smaller, and to be honest, and to avoid the questions after the lesson, of course, with that system running or driving with a ordinary tractor, you do damage your field, of course, more than we do it with our very high ground clearance. But yes, it is like it is. You cannot have everything. This is kind of a compromise to maybe, yes, have a system which is not so expensive like the full machine, which is more flexible for driving around in country like Slovenia with smaller fields at all, and the cutting unit in front is not so wide as we have it on the multi-combine 1, which is in the full system we have 6 meters, and here you see a model which has just 4.50 meters. So this is quite a little bit better maybe for smaller fields and to be more flexible. This is now the trick here. What's coming up, the second upgrade is the multi-thresher system, and with that system we are able to separate the seed, the leaf and the straw on the machine with only in the first attempt. So this will bring up a little bit more effects, being faster and being better. Quality reasons as well are very important for that developments, which we will show more than this very foggy picture, because we cannot show too much of the details right now. In the next year, And then another upgrade is coming because we are developing a system where we can cut the straw. When we come in autumn for the last cut with a multi-combine, we can cut the straw which is then standing there and bring it into a system of baling, and we can bring it back to the factory as well. But this development takes a little bit longer, so I'm expecting it in 2018. We are coming to the conclusion, which is, you can see there,
Yo, grow.
I want to say again, if I missed that before, my first advice is, in terms of harvesting technology or hemp agriculture, just grow hemp as much as you can. We have seen again with these hours today, hemp has so many big advantages and benefits for us and for our kids and for the nature in total. So, like Mark said before, the demand is high. Yeah? They are coming up so many good ideas for products. Some developments which are really good in the hemp industry. So I can only advise you, grow as much hemp as you can. This is really the truth. After that, of course, are coming all these questions which I can understand, because you need to decide what you are targeting or what you are aiming with your hemp production. That is true. So go all over the world, check where are the people doing what with hemp and what are they doing with their hemp, which kind of products are they developing and selling, and you find many ideas about what you can do with it. So of course you have the idea since a few years that the flower and the leaves are quite interesting, so you only need the very first top cut, and you can have good ingredients. You have a powerful green material which has hundreds, and it is going now into more than thousands of ingredients from cannabinoids and terpenes and other good things in that material, vitamins of course, and more. You can have the seed, sometimes we say grain because sometimes we have that problem with sowing seed and eating seed. So we call the eating seed, we call them now the grain. And with the seed you have another really good resource of these incredible good ingredients like unsaturated fatty acids, these very good proteins and amino acids which are really helpful for the health of your body, and not only your body but the body of your body as well. If you are talking about pet food, for example, or other animals who are really keen on hemp seed as well, and they are keen on them because they know what is good, and they just love the hemp seed. And in the morning we have heard Paul Benheim from Australia, and he said, yes, I cannot announce the medical benefits or the health claims in in the audience it is not allowed to say because blah blah. Of course, that is true. We have some laws about that. But what I can say about hemp seed is that I'm standing here. I'm sitting. Sorry. I'm saying hemp seed are medicine, and this is the truth. They are no medicaments, or they are no pharmaceutical products. Yes, but hemp seed was and were and is and will be ever a medicine, if you go into the word like something which is healthy for a body. So please do grow hemp as much as you can and produce hemp seed. And then we have the straw. Okay, the straw is interesting as well. So this is the third big group. What you have on your field, and you have heard which interesting products you can do. Our friend from Konopko just told you some very, very interesting technical uses of the straw, which is very, very interesting. And when we come back to the first lesson from Paul from the States, and if you think about the climate change and the benefits which hemp growing has to our CO2 circle, it is really, really interesting and again necessary. And of course you can decide if you do it single, triple, double, or whatever. Most important is that we come again to the idea, please grow as much hemp as you can. And if you have any questions to that, I am very open to answer your questions. And I thank you for your attention, and that was it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Questions? Please, Mr. Volta.
Thank you for wonderful presentation. I have two questions, one theoretic. Did you see any difference in the amount of seed produced on the plants which were, let's say, once or twice cut the top of the plant? I understood this was one of your principles.
Yeah.
And the second question would be, there was written this is a multi-level cutter. I didn't quite catch it on the photography. You actually have multi-layer blades there, or?
Yes, okay. The first question was, yes, we can increase the amount of the yield of the field by cutting it at a certain point of the vegetation, and we can increase everything because this is nature, and if you treat the nature good, the systems will increase and not decrease. I'm absolutely convinced about that from my studies about organic agriculture. This is an increasing system. Otherwise, we wouldn't sit here if we see the development of the nature. The second question was, yes, maybe I was too fast, but what we do, if you see the machine here, flexible multi-cut means that we can cut wherever we want. So we start with 20 centimeters, or the other way around. We end with 20 centimeters. We start with 3 meter 40, which is way higher than the ceiling here. Yeah, 3 meter 40. We cut, and we come back and cut, let's say, a 3 meter, and we repeat the drive. But the automatic GPS steering will help us. So we go exactly the same way, and we cut again and again and again. How often we just want to do, and this is the idea of this flexible, because we can as I said, we can adjust the length of our cut. So maybe we can cut only 10 centimeters every single drive, but we can cut 60 or 1 meter as well if we want. And at the end we cut it on the ground.